Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting edition of Beyond the Game. Beyond the Game brought to you by Schutte Excavating, Gillenhow Funeral Home, Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep, Buy-Right Auto, Decatur County Recycling, and Russ Hubler Ford. Tom Fleming, Ryan Higginbotham, Jason Simpson live in studio. Josh joining us via satellite from Wisconsin. And actually, for the second straight week, we are all coming to you live in person, kind of, in the 2025 version of in person. For the second straight week, we are streaming live on WTRE's YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search WTRE Radio. Pull up the live feed of Beyond the Game. I don't know why you would want to, from the standpoint of, I think at some point in our lives, we've all been told we have a face made for radio. But hey, if you want to see a little peek behind the curtain, watch us while we give you the greatest 2 hours in sports radio each week. Feel free, go to YouTube, search WTRE Radio. Once you are there and you pull up Beyond the Game, make sure to like, subscribe, and
share, ring the bell.
Ring that bell so that you get notifications. Man, I feel like such a YouTuber now.
Yeah.
I tell you what. But anyway,
just like
fellas,
Logan Paul, who we were talking about.
That's right. Fellas, welcome back for another show this week. Everybody have a good, solid week leading into this week. My first week back at school with kids, and I've had a bunch of people ask, well, how was the first week? After all this time, I think this is year 27 for me in a classroom. And I don't mean this in a negative way. It's literally like I feel like we didn't leave last year, and you just come back in, and you, granted, you're starting fresh with going back to the first chapter in the book and things like that, but I mean, it's old hat at this point.
I mean, when I was in school, we got out before Memorial Day and didn't go back until after Labor Day. And now you have no summer. I mean, it's like as soon as school ends, it's like school starting again. It's like, my goodness.
Well, the life of a coach, and I do this to myself, I guess, but I basically don't have a June that you would call a summer because, you know, as we've talked about before, we play as many games in June as we will during the regular season. Yeah. So, but that's by design and things like that. So I'm not complaining, that's for sure. Everybody else have a good week?
Yeah,
very much so.
Love it.
All good. All good up here. We're finally getting. We had about 26 or 7 straight days of poor air quality. Thanks a lot, Canada, for your wildfires up there. So battling a little bit of a summer cold / allergies, but other than that, all is good, fellas.
Oh, I thought you were going to say cold as in the temperature. Like,
oh no,
you're mad because it only got to 75 or something.
No, we are basically Indiana at this point. 80. I think yesterday was like 88, humid. So
with 1,006% humidity.
Yes, just dripping sweat. Even riding in a golf cart, you're dripping sweat. But I guess there are worse things. So it could be negative 30, which it will be here in a couple short months. So.
Very true.
I got to tell you guys, I am loving this retirement situation. My goodness.
Tom is back after what was it, a 6-day retirement?
Yeah.
Because he retired Saturday. He was retired through Friday and came back the next Saturday.
Yeah.
Tom is basically the Brett Favre of radio.
There it is.
Yeah.
I like it.
Except I won't go out and get a bunch of money to build a bunch of welfare money to build a volleyball arena for my daughter's team, like Brett did.
Well, I mean, semantics, tomato. All right, well, we know what time it is. It is time to find out who is checking in to the Hot Take Hotel this week. And this week, working the front desk at the hotel is our very own resident expert, Tom Fleming. Now, Tom, remember, I just got to set the table since this is your first time presenting your hot take. Don't let on which side of the fence you're falling on here, because by the time you are done with the argument, it's our job to decide if you actually believe this or if this is just a hot take. So, Tell us, who is checking in to the Hot Take Hotel this week?
Well, you know, I thought about this a lot this week, and I'm shocked that I'm even saying that these words are even coming out of my mouth. But I think that the Fever need to sit Caitlin Clark for the rest of the season and let her come back healthy next year. I mean, they've moved from 7th place to 5th place in the standings since she's been out. Natasha Howard, who would catch a pass from Caitlin and miss a shot a foot away from the basket, is shooting 70% plus without Caitlin in the lineup. When you look at what Sophie Cunningham and Natasha Howard are doing, they're outscoring Lexi Hall and Caitlin Clark per game. So for me, it's, are you going to bring Caitlin back and then risk more injury when you've got the fewest games of any team in the league left? You're in 5th place in the standings. Why not just let her sit? And because you're not going to move up any higher than 5th, so sit her for the rest of the year. Let her come back fully healthy next year.
I think when you look at that, there's a couple things that you have to take into consideration, because your point is valid. You want to maybe try to protect, but their season is now, it's packed in, but it's so short to begin with. They've got a great collection of talent that they brought in around Caitlin Clark, but they still don't have enough miles on those tires. They still got to figure out how to play with one another. And let's be honest, everybody can have these stats with or without Caitlin Clark, but everybody's going to be better with Caitlin Clark on the floor. And the injuries that she's dealing with now are injuries that could happen if she comes back next week, if she waits and plays next year. I mean, they're these soft tissue muscle issues. Like she's pulled each groin now, isn't that the issue that she's had? And it's to me, it's just like you hear the guys in the NFL with hamstring injuries, and they're out for 3-4 weeks, and then they come back and they tweak it again. It's one of those, at some point you just got to rip the Band-Aid off and throw them back out there, in my opinion.
I would sit here and say, if she's healthy, she needs to be back out there and play. She's the only one that brings anything of value to the WNBA. And it's not just for that, but you only have so many opportunities to win a championship. And, with it about 15, 16 games left in the regular season, they are still on pace to make the playoffs. Now, the playoffs don't start for another month. And if she can sit for 3 more weeks, 4 more weeks to recover that, which would be a total of, 7 weeks probably. She's been out roughly 3 weeks and then another 4 weeks. I don't see why she shouldn't be fully healthy to make a run for the NBA championship. Like I said, you don't know what your championship window is. And we've seen that with the Pacers, because Tyrese Halliburton should have sat with that strained calf muscle, knowing what was, a better than 50% chance likely to happen, and what ultimately did happen. You have to capitalize on those championship windows when you have that opportunity. So for Caitlin Clark just to sit out for the rest of the year, if she's healthy going into the playoffs, then she should play in the playoffs. Not only is it going to help the WNBA, but it's going to help the Fever, because you said it best, Jason. You can say all these stats you want about this person's shooting 70% without Caitlin Clark and so on and so forth. But look, anybody that's making a pass in the WNBA, the odds of it getting caught in the first place are less than 50%. And then for them to catch it and make an actual layup, it's less than 30%. So, yeah, you're going to be better with Caitlin Clark out there. You're going to be more dynamic. So if she's healthy and ready to play in the playoffs with that championship window, she needs to play.
Yeah, I mean, I think she obviously should play, because like you guys said, when she's on the court, they have a better chance to win every single game. I'm looking at her game logs. Every game is anywhere from, like, the entire season, every game is anywhere between 30 and 40 minutes pretty much. The least points she's had all year is 6 and a win.
And that was right after she came back from injury.
Yes.
Right?
And I'm just looking at everything. Her stats are exactly where she needs to be. 16.5 points a game, Are they playing a little bit better with her, without her right now? Yeah, they are, but that's every team does that a little bit, you know.
How many games have they played with and without her now?
It looks like
they played 19 without her, 13 with her.
So, I mean,
so that kind of stands to reason. They've got more experience without her than they do with her. You start to, gather more experience.
And I left out the fact that their defense is markedly better without her.
Yeah, nobody claimed that she was setting the world on fire defensively.
That's what I mean.
She's never been confused.
That's
with,
what I mean. Is their defense is much
of
better? So.
Gary Payton, she's not the glove.
Yeah, so when you look at what they did, it looks like, and I'm just going by the leaders in that game, the points, rebounds, and assist leaders, but. I'm assuming her last game was against the Connecticut Sun, July 15th, where she had 7 assists. And they had won 3 straight games with her in there. And like you kind of said, they played that packed schedule, and they played the most games in the league up to this point. So they do have seemingly more breaks in the schedule. If she can get healthy, she makes that team a lot better. And I think it's more along the lines of they've just gelled and they've learned how to play. They basically reset most of their roster last year. So everybody was trying to figure each other out. They've won 5 of their last 7 games, even without Caitlin Clark. But it's hard to argue that if she's healthy, that she needs to sit out the rest of the regular season. Now, in saying that, Tom, she could sit out the rest of this season, and hopefully everybody has to sit out all of next season because of pay us what you owe us. Well, you're losing $40 million a year for the last 25 years.
Now the league is losing that now, and I don't know how that happens. But you look at individual teams with only a $1.5 million salary cap for your entire roster. I don't know how teams are losing money.
True. And especially now over the last 2 seasons with the influx of money that Caitlin Clark has brought.
Well, they're losing money because it's not just on salary; it's on everything else. It's on travel. It's on paying.
Oh yeah,
people
because
to
now
the league is paying for those chartered flights.
That's why they're losing money. So I mean, it's not just the salary cap, but you have to figure. The janitors that Diana Taurasi are claiming that make more than her. Because they have to pay to clean up after the 2,000 people that are going to watch you, Diana Taurasi. So the league is losing money. And yes, they have a lower salary cap, but everything that is getting subsidized by the NBA, for them to still lose $30 and $40 million every single year, you're not owed anything. So maybe she gets to sit out 2 years. But to go back to your point, Tom, and to kind of wrap it up from my end, she's the best player on the Fever, the most dynamic offensive player on the Fever, and they do have a chance to win a title. So, yeah, if she's healthy, she needs to be back out there.
Tom, you have anything else to add to your argument?
No, I'm just waiting for you guys to see whether I actually believe my take or not.
For me personally, I would say if any of the other 3 of us brought this argument forward, we would argue passionately that this is actual factual stuff, but in no way would we believe it. But coming from you, I do think you actually believe this take that Caitlin Clark should sit the rest of the year.
Okay, Ryan?
I want to look at you and say you believe it, but I think I'm going to go, hopefully I'm going to be the one that goes against, and the only one that goes against. I don't think you believe it because I think you do believe that with Caitlin on the floor, they do have a better chance to win.
Yeah, I'm gonna side with Jason on this one. I think that you don't believe it, Tom. Or that you do believe it. I'm sorry. I think that you, for the most part, look out for the longer term plays than you do the short term plays when it comes to the WNBA and the Fever. I don't believe that you think the Fever can win a championship this year with the way that they're currently constructed, even though that they're playing better. So, yeah, I think you would argue, and you are making that argument, and you believe it, that Caitlin Clark should sit out the rest of the year.
Okay, do I believe that Caitlin Clark should sit out the rest of the year? Heck no. No way in the world, for several different reasons, and you guys covered a lot of them with what she brings to the team. In addition to that, in their game Tuesday night, the only two other point guards on the roster both had season-ending injuries.
Oh.
So they have no active point guards now. And it looks like they're probably, after their game tomorrow, I believe it is, then they can sign somebody to a 7-day contract or for the rest of the season. And there's a lot of talk that they're going to bring Grace Berger back out of IU. But, you know, the 2 point guards who were kind of holding things together are out, and you have zero. So now you're looking at Sophie Cunningham, a wing, or at best a shooting guard, having to run it, or Lexi Hall, who's a wing, not a point guard, that's going to have to handle the offensive flow, or you run everything through Aaliyah Boston. So again, you guys said it, you know, most of this roster, most of the league is going to be free agents at the end of this season, unless they're on a rookie contract, because everybody else signed contracts that ended after this season. So, and I don't know how they're going to have an expansion draft when teams are only going to have 1 or 2 players left that aren't free agents. But anyway, yeah, you got to take the opportunity to win a championship when it's there. And, you know, I really didn't believe it before the players got hurt, but now especially, you know, they won 5 games in a row, but now they've lost 3 in a row. So all that stuff, when you look at the record with her and without her, it's markedly better with her than it is without her. So because they're 8-5 with her, and they're 9-9 without her, so they're 500 without her. And they've got a stretch of 5 games coming up that they should win at least 4 of them. If they don't, they're in trouble. They're only 3 games out of 9th place. Only 3 games out of completely missing the playoffs. So for me, Caitlin, when she's healthy, she's got to be out there.
So I didn't realize that they lost both point guards. Is that why they lost last night by a Ryan-sized point margin here?
It was by a million.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, they lost again last night?
Or yesterday, during whenever their last game, they got beat by like 160 or something. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. I know Tuesday night they got walloped pretty
Tuesday.
good.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, so
and
she's
speaking of injuries, I just happened to I flipped on SportsCenter this morning just because out of morbid curiosity, I wanted to see how Shadur Sanders did last night, and I saw across the ticker that the Lions game was suspended because of an injury during the what happened? I didn't ever see anything.
Basically,
on that.
The guy went in for a tackle, and when the offensive player hit him, his head jerked back, and for momentarily didn't have any feeling in his extremities. So they ended up going out there, saw that it was more severe, brought an ambulance out on the field and took him away. And there have been, if you look at how many players have had season-ending injuries this week, 3 weeks before the season starts, I don't blame them. It's just an exhibition game.
The Colts lost 2 to ACL on Thursday night.
Yeah.
We know that. So you said he temporarily lost feeling. You have
what I heard,
confirmed.
Yeah. I read that he did have feeling later on after he was in the hospital. So,
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Josh, you texted us all this morning and said that you had a topic that you wanted to bring up. I have a little... a new little, I don't know if I want to call it a game that we're going to play, but it's going to be fun to keep track of as we go through the season. But we're going to hold off on that for just a minute. So what are you bringing to the table?
Yeah. So, I just I wanted to talk about something, when it comes to and I don't want to give away the sport. So this was the last time that this happened, and I will tell you what this is at the end if you guys cannot guess it. But the last time this happened, here are some fun facts about what was going on in the world what we what we didn't have at this point in time. So I'll run down a few of these things. Cordless landline phones were still a thing. There were no cell phones. Dial-up internet was still a thing. No Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi wasn't even created yet. Mariah Carey's Fantasy was the #1 song in music. You could only get movies on VHS, and Toy Story was the big movie out at that point in time.
The original Toy Story, and they are in the midst of creating Toy Story 5 now, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
I believe so. The original PlayStation had just launched, but Nintendo 64 was not out yet. Everything that you had to do, you had paper checks. ATMs did not have touchless screens. The Bosnian War just ended. O.J. Simpson trial verdict. And the Dow Jones hit 5,000 for the first time, and now it's up around 35,000. That was the last time in sports this happened.
So that was 1995.
I was going to say, I'm thinking all this stuff is when I'm in college.
Anybody want to take a guess of what the last time this happened in sports was?
Wow. It had to be something with baseball, just because of the season that this is happening, I would think.
Yep. You're on the right path.
Huh. Okay. Can we ask for hints?
Yeah.
Okay. Does it have to do with certain teams in the standings and where they are?
To do it, not necessarily in the standings. I will say that this team was owned by a different ownership group at that point in time. Let's see. The divisions and conferences were not aligned the same way. It is in baseball. It has to do not with the regular season, but with the postseason.
Oh, okay.
So basically, I wanted to talk about, everybody says that the Raiders have the worst ownership in sports, or the Browns, or you can go on down the list and name the Buffalo Sabres in hockey or whatever. But 1995 was the last time the Cincinnati Reds won a playoff series.
Yeah.
I should have known it was going to hit close to
30
home.
years. 30 years.
So we're going on 30 years since the last time the Reds won a playoff series. The longest active streaks of not even winning a playoff game in football or series, besides the 35 years or the 30 years of the Cincinnati Reds. The Dolphins' last playoff win was 24 years ago in the year 2000. The Raiders was 22 years ago. The Buffalo Sabres 18 seasons ago. The Chicago White Sox 2005 they won the World Series, and it's 1995. The Cincinnati Reds last won their playoff series.
Oh.
They have now lost 43 of the last 60 games they've played against or at the Pittsburgh Pirates Stadium. They are 17-43 over their last 60 games at Pittsburgh. I didn't say at the Dodgers or at the Cubs. I said at Pittsburgh. And in 2002, when Bob Castellini bought the Cincinnati Reds, a long-standing citizen of Cincinnati, he promised to bring back championship baseball to Cincinnati. And since that has happened, they've been no-hit in the playoffs. 8 years after he purchased the Reds was their first playoff series where they were no-hit by the Philadelphia Phillies and got unceremoniously swept in 2010. In 2011, when the playoffs had a different structure for that 1 year, the home team got 3 games at home to end the 5-game playoff series, and they had to start on the road. They go out and win the first 2 games in San Francisco, and they have 3 games to close it out at Great American Ballpark, and they fumble that away. They Scott Rowan air it away. They throw the ball away. And then they go a year without making the playoffs, and then they go back to Pittsburgh for a 1-game playoff, and get dominated by former Red Edison Volquez in 2013. And that is the last time outside of the COVID season in 2020 where they got shut out in 17 innings against the Atlanta Braves that they have made the playoffs. So 30 years since the Cincinnati Reds have made the playoffs. It's going to be 31 this year because they continue to lose to the Pittsburgh Pirates. So Bob Castellini, I know we don't do this anymore, but get off my lawn and sell the team so we can not bring championship baseball back to Cincinnati, so we can bring a playoff series win, whether that be in the new 3-game wild card or what. Let's bring that back to Cincinnati.
I'm begging for him to do that. I'm begging that he would do that.
Now, let me ask you this, guys, as Reds fans. We love to hammer home the fact that the Lakers have an asterisk next to that bubble championship, right? We're all in agreement. Josh, had the Reds won that playoff series, would you have an asterisk next to it?
No, because I love them.
Okay, okay, that's what I figured.
Absolutely
That's a good fan.
Yeah.
Hey, you're
in saying that, absolutely there would have been an asterisk next to that. But they lost in 17 innings. Actually, I think the score was 2-1 in 17 innings. But yeah, for sure. COVID was there weren't fans and anything like that. So yeah, there would have been an asterisk.
There were cardboard cutouts, weren't there?
probably, yeah.
There were cardboard cutouts.
Yeah. That it's just crazy how long it's been since they've won anything. It just
Hey, it could be worse. Now it's.
But you're up there in Wisconsin. The Brewers are in first place.
Can we not talk about it? That's what I was just getting ready to bring up. Next topic. So, what about that that underwater basket weaving team they're starting? So
I was going to, and I can't do it being up here, but I was going to have the lead into this segment being Mariah Carey leading us back into the segment with the song Fantasy, because that was the number 1 single the last time they won it.
And so you're saying that's what it's going to be, that the Reds actually win a playoff series?
It is 100% a fantasy that the Reds even make the playoffs at this point in time. So, and here's my thing with them, and then we can get off the topic. You only have Ellie De La Cruz for about 5 more years. And I've never really understood, and this is what the NFL does so well that baseball doesn't do. And when you have a quarterback on the most important position on the field, your best player, when he's on a rookie deal, you spend the money to get your roster in a place where you can capitalize on that. The fact that the Reds have some young guys on great deals, and Hunter Green and Ellie De La Cruz and Nick Lodolo and Matt McClain, and I can name a few more guys that are on these great rookie contracts. The fact that they won't go out and spend an extra $15 to $20 million to bring in more fans, to get more eyeballs on their game, and to increase their team's chances of making and winning a playoff series is ridiculous. They're the only team in the last 10 years that have not been on Sunday Night Baseball one time. And that's with the most electrifying player in baseball outside of Shohei Ohtani and Ellie De La Cruz. That's how far down the Cincinnati Reds have fallen. And it's all been under this one ownership group. And the fact that you said that you wanted to bring championship baseball back to Cincinnati, and it's been 23 years that you've owned the team, and you still haven't won a playoff series, it's time to sell the team. And if you say that you don't have enough money to run a team, then sell the team for $4 billion and just take your money and run and get somebody in there that wants to spend the money and win.
Yeah, when you look at it, look at what the Red Sox did with Roman Anthony this week. Signed him to an 8-year, $130 million deal. So you take out his first 3 years of free agency, you're going to have him for that amount of time. Yes, you're paying him a little bit more up front, but by the time you get to the end of that contract, it's a heck of a deal.
And that's what the Cubs did with Chris Bryant.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He won the Rookie of the Year. They gave him a deal. Basically, they did the smart thing. They paid him when he was healthy. Now, they didn't know his back was going to be as bad as it was. But when it was time for him to move on in free agency after he helped them win a World Series championship, if he wasn't the MVP, he was second or third. And then after he got to 28, 29, when he started to decline a little bit, they didn't pay him all that money, and it's worked out great for him. But that's what the Cubs – and we talk about the Reds, but going to the Cubs, you traded a lot to get Kyle Tucker. And now the odds of the Cubs re-signing Kyle Tucker dwindle by the day, and the Cubs are in the third or fourth biggest market in baseball and have a multi-billion-dollar owner. I just don't understand. It seems to me in baseball, the problem in baseball is there's only about 5 or 6 teams that want to win. And other than that, everybody else is just fine collecting paychecks. Yeah. So that's my Reds rant, and we don't even have to talk about them the rest of the
night. It's like when you have a player like that. I mean, it's the same thing with Pittsburgh and Paul Skeens. You got that guy. If you're not going to surround him with players that you can win with, then trade him to a team that he can do that with. The Reds are going to waste all these years with Ellie De La Cruz. Well, if you're going to do that, just trade him to some other team and bring in some other players that you're going to have control of for even longer.
Well, that goes back to what Josh was kind of arguing, though. Like, that's showing who the Reds are as a franchise right now, because the only reason people are showing up to the ballpark is to watch Ellie De La Cruz. Because they know, like, Reds fans are resigned to the fact, well, we're probably not going to win much. Yeah. So they're going to go watch that one individual player. And, like, I remember growing up and then, in those early 2000s and some of those years, when the Reds are good, Reds fans will come in droves, and they are passionate baseball fans. But I think it's almost like, Josh, I think it's a lot like being an IU basketball fan. We've almost been beaten into submission, and we're just resigned to the fact. I almost feel like a Purdue fan from the standpoint of, I haven't gotten there yet, but it's almost like, well, something's going to go wrong. Not, hey, this is great that everything's going right. Something is going to go wrong. And it's, to me, that just shows exactly where the Reds are. The fact that you've got Ellie De La Cruz, who is one of probably top 3 to 5 most popular players in baseball right now. And what else do they have that they can hang their hat on that they've gone out and gotten and is driving people to the stands night in and night out?
I mean, there's a couple guys. They have a young pitcher, Chase Burns, who they drafted 2nd overall. In his last 4 starts, he struck out 10 guys in each start, minus the one rainout that they had last week in Bristol. But it's the most starts in a row to start somebody's career that they've had 10 straight strikeouts and not won a game. They haven't won a game when he's done that. So it's all good and well to draft and develop and do that in baseball. You have to do that to a certain extent. But you have to supplement that where you're weak. And everybody and their brother knew that the Reds didn't have enough power and they couldn't hit well enough against left-handed pitching. And really, they didn't hit well enough against right-handed pitching. They were about league average. And they did nothing to correct that. They have a guy that's hitting .230 that was their big offseason acquisition in Austin Hayes, signed 1-year, $5 million deal, and he's hitting .230 against lefties. And he's hitting 4th every game. That's a JV team. That's a quad A. They're basically not triple A. They're not the majors. They're a quad A baseball team that can win 3 or 4 in a row because Ellie's so good, or what they've done on their pitching staff can steal them a couple 3-1 victories. But other than that, they inspire nothing. And you're right, Jason. I'm going to go watch Ellie, and other than that, I'm done. And when he's gone, you're going to lose even more fans. The only thing that I can say in the NFL, the only thing that I can compare it to, because I couldn't imagine the Chiefs not surrounding Patrick Mahomes with talent. I couldn't imagine, the Patriots not surrounding Tom Brady with talent. The only thing that I can think about, and it hits home, is Andrew Luck and the Indianapolis Colts. They didn't surround him with enough talent. They didn't surround him with enough offensive linemen. And what ultimately happened, he got hurt and he retired. And that, they didn't spend up to the cap to try to make sure that Andrew Luck had all the weapons and all the tools that he needed. And that came back to bite him. And it's the same thing that the Reds are doing right now with Ellie De La Cruz.
And, the thing is, it's those billionaires just cashing checks is what it is. And, when you're a fan of that franchise, it makes it really difficult. And the thing is, as you guys know, you're talking to a guy that until 2016, my team's they were known as the lovable losers for basically the last time they were relevant until 2016. And I mean, like, really relevant was probably 1989.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, they were with the Bart. I mean, they were in the NLCS.
Yeah, true, but I'm saying
Bartman
year
game,
in and year,
but
like,
yes, yeah.
Through other than like a pocket here and there, the Cubs were known as the lovable losers, and so that's why it's frustrating now, because you see the pieces that they have, and they at times, like, look at the money they paid to wrestle Craig Counsell away from Milwaukee. So you show you're willing to spend money, but then are you willing to spend money? Like you just mentioned it, Kyle Tucker. Like, what are we doing? Like, are we going to sign him or not? And then you've got as a Cubs fan, and we talked about this last week, you had Rizzo, Bryant, and Baez, all three, and actually Schwarber for that matter.
Yep.
Now, Schwarber is the one you could look at. His average is obviously what it's always been. I'm assuming he's probably in the 230s, but he hits monster home runs. Anthony Rizzo went to the Yankees and was fine. He didn't do anything more or less than he did for the Cubs. It was hard to lose him simply because he was just a cornerstone of the franchise. He was like Joey Votto was to the Reds. And then again, and we talked about this last week, initially until this year, it looked like the genius move in all of baseball to let Javi Baez go. And then the same thing with Chris Bryant simply because of his injuries. But we also have the advantage of hindsight, and we can see now, looking back at the time, we're like, man, what are we doing? We're not willing to spend the money. Now it looks good because it worked out. But the Reds have such a long history of not spending the money that I can see why, as Reds fans, you would feel snake bit by ownership.
And you knew when the Cubs were going through that transition after they won it, they said, hey, this is what we're doing. Like, we're rebuilding, and in 3 to 5 years, we're going to be ready to go out and win another World Series. And they're at that place. The Cubs are at that place. But their big trade line acquisition was Mike Soroka, who is on a 1-year deal from Washington with a history of arm problems, and 2 innings into his first start for the Cubs, what happened? Arm problems, shoulder problems, and now he's on the injured list. Like, the Cubs had a chance. They're in the playoffs at this point in time. They're still battling for the division with Milwaukee, but go out and you know the Cubs need pitching. You know they need starting pitching. They have about 1.5 starters. And they went out, and their biggest move was a guy that was a cast-off from multiple teams, and because of arm troubles. Like, go out and make a splash, help your team, commit to Kyle Tucker, and go be the Chicago freaking Cubs. Go be in the 3rd or 4th largest market in baseball, and one of the 3rd or 4th richest owners in baseball. But even the Cubs can't do that. So I understand where the players are coming, like, no, we're not doing a salary cap, because at least we have 5 teams, the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Padres, like, that are trying to win and that will pay us the money, the Yankees, that will pay us that money. And yeah, I'm going to try to get $60 million from the Dodgers because they're going to give it to me. The Cubs aren't going to give Kyle Tucker $40 million, much less $60, when Kyle Tucker's probably worth $40 or $50 or $60 million. So it's just, baseball's in a bad spot because you have so many teams that don't care to win, and then the ones that should care don't care to win, a la the Chicago Cubs. And I don't blame the players for wanting to, say no salary cap.
There is one franchise right now, Josh, it would be much worse to be a fan of than it would be to be a Reds fan. Can you imagine being an Athletics fan?
Ooh.
And they're playing in a minor league stadium for 4 years or something?
Probably.
Like that. Now,
in Sacramento.
The renderings of the new stadium that they're going to have in Vegas are unbelievable. But that's all well and good. Is the ownership group going to be willing to fork over the dough to put an actual team together? Or are they going to be a major league team that played in a minor league stadium that's now in the nicest stadium maybe in sports once they get to Vegas, but is putting a minor league product on the field?
And he is responsible for any overruns on the stadium project. There's an amount he's paying, there's an amount that Vegas is paying, and then anything over he has to pay for. The owner of the A's is not one of these elite rich guys like the guy that owns the Dodgers. So he may end up having to sell, or they may have that stadium part way done, and it's like, we're out of money, because we know that things are getting more expensive, and just going to continue to do that.
Yeah, the A's owner, I mean, I know what you're saying. He's not the Dodgers ownership group or anything, but he's also worth $3 billion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, here's the thing, though, and they, I was out in Vegas in May, and they already have some stuff starting to go up, building for this stadium. But, it's going to be, to your guys' questions, I guess, like, is he going to try to put together a team that can win there? Or is he just moving to Las Vegas so it can be another thing to do on the Strip, right? Like, is it just going to be a circus out there, or is it actually going to be there for baseball? And they were getting no love in Oakland, but they didn't deserve it, right? I mean, they were basically 10 times worse at spending than the Cincinnati Reds. But now they're moving out to Las Vegas, so a guy that's worth $3 billion, and it's going to go way up after the stadium's finished and on the Las Vegas Strip. What's his end game? Is it just to have a fun place to go, or is it to win? I couldn't imagine having the opportunity to own a sports franchise, NHL, MLB, NFL, NBA, and be such a beta male that you don't even care about winning. Like, you would think if you owned a team, all you would care about is winning, and you would do anything to win because it's your team. It's not the Cincinnati Reds fans team. It's not the Chicago Bears fans team. It's your team. Like, how are you not competitive enough to use some of your money or find another investor that you can go and spend the money to try to win? I don't know. I've never understood that with ownership groups.
Well, and the thing that, to me, outside of the competitive side of it, I don't know why you do anything that you keep score in that you don't try to win. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. But to me, to be someone who is able to own a team, you didn't get there by making bad business decisions. So you've got all this money, and now you can afford a team. Wouldn't you think, and now this is me who lives on a teacher's salary, so obviously I don't know what I'm talking about, but wouldn't you think that if I'm worth $3 billion, I would understand that money makes money, and popular money makes more popular money, and so if my team is good, I'm going to make even more money. Now, I'm going to have to spend to get good, but once I get good, that good money is going to become even better. And when you're talking in the millions and billions, just the amount of interest that you make off of money like that, my goodness gracious. Now, we always love to say it on here. It's really easy for us to spend other people's money, but I just don't understand how these owners don't put two and two together and understand, hey, if I spend a little more cheddar up front here and I get top-line talent that's willing to come to our organization and that equates to wins, all that does is drive revenue in every single way. I don't see why they can't see that, or they choose not to.
So I just looked up Tom Ricketts, who his family owns the Chicago Cubs. His net worth is around $2.3 billion, so not even as much as the A's owner. Now, Tom Ricketts his family also bought the Chicago Cubs for $900 million. As of last year, the Cubs are valued at $4.25 billion. Pretty good return on investment there. How about you take that 2.7 or 2 point whatever billion, almost $3 billion, or a little over $3 billion that you have made on the Cubs, and put an extra $100 million, put an extra 1% into your team to, like you said, to make even more money. And we talked about this until last year when it came to Indiana football. Like, the only way for IU to make more money with their athletic department was to spend more money on their football program. And it took them 100 years to figure that out. But they finally did, and look what happened. They've sold out almost all of their home games already this year. They sold out a lot of home games last year. They made the college football playoffs. Like, you got to spend money to make money, people. And ownership groups, I don't understand why they don't do that.
Yeah, I think every game after, like Nebraska and moving forward last year, was sold out at IU because, remember, Coach Cignetti sent the email out to students and things like that, and like, hey, I know that there's things going on, but we need to stay for 4 quarters and all of these things and stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
So do you think, Jason, that IU football and Cignetti feels that they should be selling out the games against Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, and Indiana State?
if I'm Kurt Cignetti, and I'm not sold out, I'm looking at you going, what else do I have to do? I mean,
Well,
if I'm him, I 1,000% say it should be sold out. That just my opinion, because now granted, he obviously probably doesn't know the history of IU basketball the way that we do, but go back to when we were growing up. You know, we would turn it on Channel 4, and they're getting ready to play Athletes in Action in their first exhibition game of the season. There's not a seat open in Assembly Hall. Now, I haven't been to Assembly Hall much over the last couple of years for obvious reasons. The biggest one resided in the head coaching seat on the sideline. But outside of the Kansas game that you and I went to, Josh, I would go to Purdue also. I would go to, air quotes here, big-time Big Ten games. And, yes, every ticket was sold in Assembly Hall, but it wasn't full.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's because there was not a product out there to be proud of. Regardless of who they were playing, it used to be you weren't getting within 100 yards of that stadium or that arena without a ticket. Like, it just wasn't going to happen. And so if I'm Cignetti, I'm like, literally, I didn't take over a bad football program. I took over statistically the worst program in the history of Division I college football. And in one season, my first season, got to the college football playoff. And you can't show up. I don't care if we win 180-4 against Indiana State. Every seat in that stadium should be full. I absolutely 100% think Kurt Cignetti and every kid on that team and every kid in the athletic administration should be thinking that way after what they did last year.
If they keep winning, that'll happen. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at Ohio State, and they're selling out 102,000 every game, even if they're playing Ohio or some other MAC school, something like that. If IU keeps winning, they will sell.
And you
Go ahead,
Go ahead,
Josh.
Tom, sorry.
No.
Well, I was just going to say, you you look at the way that college football attendance is just trending in general. Like, it's really hard to keep somebody's attention the way college football is for 4 hours when it's 90 degrees and you're sitting in metal bleachers and you can't buy water and you can't go to the bathroom quickly and you can't buy beer quickly. Like, it's not like Kurt Cignetti and the players should expect that. But should the administration expect that? Because they've treated IU football like such a doormat, and they've treated IU football fans like just peons for decades, that, yes, Cignetti and the players deserve that, and they should expect that, and they should be upset when that doesn't happen. But IU football has done nothing substantial to increase the how fun it is to go to the games. Now, they've done some incremental things here and there, but they haven't improved the fan experience tenfold. And it's just, there's a better product on the field. It's not more fun to go to the games. It is because they're winning. Yeah, I get that. But that's out of the administration's control. What have they, like, I know it's not Cignetti, but when we went to the Indiana Cincinnati game a couple years ago, and it was 90 degrees, and at halftime, before halftime, they ran out of bottled water. Like, you can't treat your fans that way and expect them to show up for Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, and Indiana State. That's just my opinion. But
and is it 55,000 that can fit in the one at IU?
Yeah. And it's so funny, Josh, because before you even got to it, I just kept sitting there thinking in my head, that may have been the it was the second most miserable sporting experience of my life. And it had nothing at all to do with the outcome of the game, because just with the orientation of the stadium and the time that the game started and everything, and just the overall weather, we were sitting in the direct sunlight for 4 hours. Obviously, we had just a couple of adult beverages before we entered the stadium, and it was, again, the second worst experience I've ever had sitting at a game. And, like, people would get up just to go stand in the concourse area just because it was shaded, because there is no break from the sun at IU there. And again, it's the orientation of the stadium and things like that, but it was definitely brutal. And, but to your original point, like, if I'm Curt Cignetti, that other stuff doesn't matter to me. Right. And I understand what you're saying about the administration, and you bring up a good point. But your original question was, should Cignetti expect that? He 1,000% should. That there is no world that he should not have that expectation of the students and season ticket holders. And you look at the numbers. The number of season tickets that's been sold, is obviously tenfold what it's been in the past and things like that. I mean, we're so big time. They call it a personal seat donation, but they did what every other Big Ten team did who has followed the way of the NFL, and it's basically a personal seat license. So I had to pay almost as much for the privilege of buying my season ticket as I did to buy the actual season ticket this year.
Yeah, so and another thing that's working against them here, like the Indiana State game is on a Friday, so that's September 12th. It's not on a Saturday, so there's going to be people at high school football games. So it's just easier. Like, nobody is going to be in front of their TV longer on August 30th waiting for that IU Old Dominion game to start at 2:30 than I am. But I would go just to tailgate, and I would go into the game. But if I did not have season tickets, I wouldn't go to that game. I would just stay home and soak in all of college football and, watch the game until halftime when it's 45-0, and then, keep tuning in back and forth. But like I said, the fan experience isn't great enough that it makes me want to go to Old Dominion or Kennesaw State if I don't already have season tickets.
And I'll tell you, and you know this because you've been, but as long as those games are, and it's all because of TV, that's what makes it so obnoxiously long. The one thing that college has going for it as an in-person viewing experience, at least you have the bands and things like that. Because I went to the Colts game against Miami last year. The product on the field was atrociously bad to begin with, but you want to talk about the most mind-numbingly boring experience being at an NFL game. They are so boring. And, like, this is the best sport to watch. Now, I personally like college football better, but football in general is the best viewing experience that you can get on TV. But, man, to be there live in person, I could have taken a nap and wouldn't have gotten woken up. I mean, it was it was so painfully boring. But that brings us to the top of the hour. Beyond the Game brought to you by Schutte Excavating, Gillenhow Funeral Home, Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep, Buy-Rite Auto, Decatur County Recycling, and Russ Hubler Ford. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Beyond the Game. Beyond the Game brought to you by Schutte Excavating, Gillenhow Funeral Home, Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep, Buyride Auto, Decatur County Recycling, and Russ Hubler Ford. Tom Fleming, Ryan Higginbotham, Jason Simpson here in studio. Josh joining us via satellite from parts unknown in Wisconsin. We actually do know where it is, but it's just more fun to say. Go
Jason,
ahead.
real quick. You said that IU game was the second worst experience
Yes.
that you've ever been to. I'm kind of curious now. I know this is off on a little topic tangent, but what's the worst sporting event that you've been to? And I want to hear from Ryan and Tom, yours as well.
The event itself wasn't bad. It was just the experience. I was still in high school. It was my senior year of high school, and a friend of mine had just graduated the year before and went to Purdue. And Purdue was playing Notre Dame in football, and she was able to get myself and a friend of mine tickets to the game. We're like, awesome. So we're going to go because we were both Notre Dame fans. So we go up to Purdue. We're hanging out with her before the game, and as we're walking to Ross-Ade Stadium, it's a cow pasture. Purdue fans think it's like the Mona Lisa or something. I don't know. It's
not a good-looking
ridiculous.
stadium.
But anyway, we're walking, and when I tell you it was a deluge of rain, I am not doing deluges any sort of favors. I am underselling the amount of rain that was falling. But there was no thunder, no lightning, or nothing. And, of course, we're 17-year-old high school boys. We're not going to not go into the stadium. So we go in, and the rain lightens up, but it rained for the entire 4 quarters of the game. Just a constant rain. And it wasn't just like a little misty drizzle, and it wasn't a torrential downpour. It was just that amount of rain where you knew it was raining, and you're like, come on. Well, then, to make matters worse, as the game goes on, at kickoff it was probably about 75 degrees. By the middle of the third quarter, the air temperature was about 54 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you know, when you're in high school, you're not smart enough to get out of your own way. We sat there for almost the entire 4 quarters, but then Notre Dame ended up getting a big enough lead. It was like, okay, hey, we can leave now. I think to this day, I've got 3 toes on my left foot that are still numb from how cold that they were. We literally drove home, obviously just sopping wet. You know, we stopped in our friend's dorm room and wrung our clothes out and tried to use her hair dryer to dry them a little bit. Got in the car still just bone-chillingly cold. Drove from West Lafayette to Greensburg with the heat as high as it would go and the fan as high as it would go, literally from the time we left West Lafayette until we pulled into the driveway back in Greensburg, and was still cold. That was the most miserable sporting event experience I've ever had. But that IU game was a close second, just on the opposite ends of the temperature spectrum.
Yeah. I was trying to think of the ones that I've been to that were not necessarily the worst, and these will be memories. But if you just think of weather, and to put that into effect, I mean, I went to, and it was awesome. But I went to the NHL Winter Classic at Notre Dame Stadium. It was the Bruins and the Blackhawks, who I could care less about either one of those teams. The rink was around midfield, and we were sitting in the end zone, and it was about 5 degrees maybe. And it was the day after New Year's Eve. So, well, let's just say I didn't feel the greatest. And it was about 5 degrees sitting there watching hockey from 70 yards away. 2 teams I did not care about. 2 teams that weren't in the playoff hunt. So that was pretty rough. But yeah, I think anything that, I mean, I went to a few games at Ross-Ade Stadium. Anytime you enter that stadium, it automatically vaults to 1A, 1B, 1C, and 1D is the worst experience that you could ever have.
Either one of you guys have bad sports experiences?
Live,
actually,
I've got a couple. The first one is when in 1977, the company that my father worked for had season tickets to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their first season, and I got to go to 4 games that season,
wow.
and they were god awful with Steve Spurrier as their quarterback when they went 0-14.
Did they have the Dreamsicle uniform?
Yes, they did.
Nice.
Oh yeah. But my worst, and this is weather related. I don't remember what year it was, Jason. You might. It was when your girls' team was playing in Noblesville at the tournament,
Yep.
and snowstorm hit, and they actually moved the final up a couple hours because of the weather. The interstate was backed up all over the place, and I had Randy and his mom and a couple other people with us. I don't remember who else it was, and it took us forever to get back to Greensburg. It was awful. I even hit the thing for OnStar to try and find a route around it, and it didn't help. It still took forever to get home.
Now, I need you to clarify that statement, though. It had nothing at all to do with the sports viewing experience.
No.
That was 17, 18. That was an interesting bus ride home because we chose to not go down to 465. We actually went towards Mount Vernon and then through Greenfield. And by the time we got just past Greenfield, it hadn't even snowed a drop. But man, we had to stop twice and get out and hit the windshield wipers of the bus against the window because they were freezing up and things like that. But yeah, we got another 15 miles down the road and we were good.
I got 2. Both are my freshman year of college at Eastern Kentucky. The first one was the first baseball game for Eastern that year. They were playing Kentucky State, and this was at the end of February, but Kentucky is a little bit like Indiana. It's very bipolar when it comes to weather. At the time of the first pitch, it was 75 and sunny at the end of February, which I loved. I wore a T-shirt and some shorts. By the time the third inning, it was 20-0 already, but I was going to stick it out because, it's my college. I was going to stick it out. By that time, it was 42 degrees and raining. I sticked it out for another inning. By that time, it was 31 degrees and it started to snow. And I walked all the way back to my dorm. The second one is a couple of days before I moved out to come back home. My roommate Will and his girlfriend Amanda, we all went to a Reds game, and it was the second game of a doubleheader. And the first one, it rained the entire game, but they stuck it out and they played that game. The second game, a couple hours later, the seats were still drenched in rain. It was soaking wet the entire time, and then the sun came out. And it was 101 degrees in the middle of May, and we were sitting almost right at first base in the direct sunlight, almost to what you guys were at the IU game.
Yep.
It was terrible, and it didn't help that they sucked that year, and I think they won 60 games that year. It was god awful. Nobody could hit. On the way back, we left, I think, at the 7th inning, and it was already pitch black outside. The traffic to get back to Richmond, Kentucky, I swear, an hour and a half drive took 3.5 hours.
There's nothing worse than that.
Oh my! It was terrible.
I guess I really, for mine, I should say in 1992, I was stationed at Fort Harrison, and it was my first time running the mini marathon. And that year you finished at the track. And this was a year when it was 90 degrees, humid as could be. My wife at the time took pictures at the end. She wasn't running it, of course, but she took pictures of the whole group of us that ran. And I look at those pictures now, I looked like death warmed over. That was a horrible experience.
I have one more now that you mentioned the track, and it has nothing to do with the 500, but I went to the Brickyard 400. Back when NASCAR was big, this was probably in 2002, 2003, and we had seats about 7 rows from the track, and it was about 98-degree air temperature in the first part of August. And watching those cars not pass each other for 400 miles was about as bad as you could possibly do for a sporting event. So, yeah, I forgot about that one, but that's certainly up there.
Yeah, as you guys were talking, that one came to my mind too, and it might be worse than the Notre Dame-Purdue experience. It might be number 2 on my list. But the one time I've been to the Brickyard, and I want to say it was 1997. Like, the race was not very – this one was still hugely popular. I'm a huge Jeff Gordon fan at the time. Well, I say huge, like as big as you could have been back then without really following it. And a fraternity brother invites me to go to the race, so I go with he and his parents. And as you would expect, it's August, and it's a bajillion and 6 degrees. It was so hot that nothing, literally nothing, and Josh can attest to my affinity for having a cold beverage every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing sounded good to drink except for water. Nothing. It's excruciatingly hot. Jeff Gordon goes out on like the 3rd lap of the race. So now I'm sitting there like, okay, what am I supposed to watch now for the next 3 hours? Then with about 40 laps to go, the gentleman sitting directly behind myself and my fraternity brother decides, he must have decided early that ice-cold beer did not sound bad to him because he partook in far too many. He decides he's just going to sit in his seat and he's going to throw up on the ground between his legs.
Lord.
Now, thankfully, we got out of the splash zone. But then, as you can imagine, the smell of it is everywhere. And so my buddy and I stand up. Well, then people behind us start yelling to sit down. They can't see. But we won the argument when we yelled down to them, hey, if you want to trade seats with us, we'd be more than happy to sit down. And they looked down and they saw what we were dealing with. And so then all of the yelling stopped. But that one was probably number 2 on the list. Yeah, I had forgotten about that one until you guys started talking. But okay.
Yeah, the Brickyard's got some. The Brickyard has some rough ones, that's for sure.
Well, it can't be rough anymore. I don't know if you guys saw highlights or anything from this year's race. All 7 people in attendance could all find seats in the shade at that point, I would say.
Yeah.
It is amazing to me how unpopular that race is now. Nobody goes.
Yeah.
It's shocking.
Well, they've all figured out that it's hot as blazes and there's no passing, and it's just a boring race, unfortunately.
Okay, came up with something new for us to do this year, and we're going to see how this goes. Now, Josh, no cheating, because Tom and I and Ryan are all here in front of each other, and we can see. You cannot pull up the team's schedule to look at it. We're just going off the cuff. We're going to go. We're going to start and go division by division. I will give you the team and their over/under mark, and all we're going to say is whether we think they'll go over that win total or under that win total, and that's going to be step 1 in our journey through this game that we're going to play. All right?
Are we going to do? Are we going to break it up and do like? AFC North, NFC North this week, and so on and so forth?
Well, I think we'll get every over/under pick, but then, I don't want to tell you what's coming next, but we'll go through every team and just say over or under first, and then there is going to be a part 2 that will be by division. Okay? All right, so we're going to start in the AFC East. We have the Buffalo Bills. Their predicted win total is 11.5. Tom?
Over.
Tom's going over. I'm going over, too. I think the Bills are odds-on Super Bowl favorites this year, if you want my honest opinion. But that's just me.
I'm going to go over.
Okay.
I'll be different. I'll go under.
Well, just go with what you believe, because there is a second part to this. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go over.
Okay, Josh is taking the over. All right, so we're all on that. The Miami Dolphins, 8.5. To me, this is just me. This is easy. That's under.
Under. Yeah, under.
I'm going over.
I'll go under. The Bears just dominated them in practice yesterday, so that can't be a good sign. That can't be a good sign.
All right. The New England Patriots, 7.5. Ryan.
Over.
What was it?
7.5. Yeah.
Definitely over.
Definitely
Under.
over.
What'd you say, Ryan?
Over.
Okay.
Under.
I'm under on that one as well. Yeah, I think eventually that's going to be the team to beat, or I shouldn't say team to beat, because as long as Josh Allen is in the
AFC East.
Patrick Mahomes category, until he proves otherwise, they're the team to beat in that division.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Drake May. So
Yeah, and it's going to take what's his, but who's their new coach?
Vrabel.
Yeah,
Vrabel.
it's going to take Vrabel a minute, and I think they are going to be more competitive this year and things, but they're not going to get
Travion Henderson last night, opening kickoff, 100-yard touchdown
Look out!
for the
What did it
Patriots.
count for?
Blue.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing like your second-round pick returning kicks.
And then that leaves us with the New York Jets 5.5. Josh, lead us off.
Under.
Tom,
Under.
who's going to start at quarterback for them?
Justin Fields.
Oh, that's
Justin
right.
Fields.
Under. Sorry, that was easy.
Yeah.
I'll go over. Over. I think they get the 6.
Okay. All right, so that was the AFC East. Now we go to the AFC North, and that starts with the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens, 11.5. Tom?
Over.
Oh, Tom is big on this one. Might be one of the toughest ones for me, and it's so goofy to say because he could have won his 3rd MVP last year. Mm-hmm. There's just something about Lamar Jackson. I can't put my arms around him. I think he's good. I'm not saying he's not. But, man, Derrick Henry, that guy's he's just different. And that's what makes it so hard. And they're led by a Harbaugh, who I think is a phenomenal coach, but they're as slimy as the day is long. Man, I'm going to go under. I think they get just 11, so I'm going to go under.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 11 as well. I'm going to go under. I think they're really good, but the AFC is stacked. So
Over.
All right. Cincinnati Bengals, 9.5. I have to go over on this simply because at some point, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are going to say enough is enough. Now, granted, they can't stop the other team from scoring, but I just have that much faith in Joe Burrow, and, I mean, they can at least get to 10 wins, right? That would be over. So I'm taking the over 9.5 with the Bengals.
Oh, I'm
I'm
a Bengals fan. I'm over.
I'm going to go with over because I think if they can figure out their first 2-week woes that they always have, where they always slip up, and I took Baltimore under, so that means I think Cincinnati's. I mean, they're better than the Browns and the Steelers, so I'm going to go with the over. I think they get the 10.
If their defense holds up, they could be one of the best, so I'm going to go over.
Okay. That takes us to the Pittsburgh Aaron Rodgers, 8.5. Ryan, you're in the pole position.
I'm hitting that under like I'm gambling it. This is going to be the first year he's not going to have a winning record. I swear. I'm hitting that under.
Okay. Josh?
Yeah, I'll go under. I'll go under as well. I don't think Mike Tomlin's as good as everybody says he is, and I think Aaron Rodgers is washed, and he'll be out by week 9 when the Bears end his career.
Oh, my. Tom?
Under.
I'm going to go under simply based on the fact I don't think there's enough around Aaron Rodgers because I'm a believer that – because look at – once he knocked the rust off last year, look at what he individually did with the Jets. Mm-hmm. And the Steelers are better than the Jets, but they're still not – I mean, they're not Baltimore. They're not Cincinnati. So, I mean, even – 8 wins is under the 8.5, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to go under on that. And that leaves us with the only franchise who can't figure out quarterback Worse
Under.
than the Colts. The Cleveland Browns, 5.5.
Under.
Josh
Under.
is hammering the under. Could be the first time in NFL history that 10 different quarterbacks start a game for a franchise. Tom, the Cleveland Browns, 5.5. Under. Hey, after Shadur Sanders and that performance he had last night in the preseason, I am joking to a point, but you have to give the kid credit. He did exactly what he did at Colorado. Yep. Like, people want to bang on this kid, and God, there is so much noise around him, and he is a stone-cold idiot when it comes to some things. But look at his completion percentage and what he was able to do at Colorado, and especially his first year there when he was literally running for his life every snap of the ball. He goes out last night, I think he was, 15 of 23, had 2 touchdowns. It doesn't mean that I think they're going to get over 5.5 wins. I was just kind of giving him some props on his preseason debut, his NFL debut. I think he showed that he might find a spot in this league. It's one performance, I get that. But I'm with you guys. I am going under 5.5 for the Browns. All right, so we are through.
Well, got Ryan.
Oh, sorry.
Shadur Sanders will lead them to the promised land of under 5 wins.
Okay. All right. Now that takes us to, it's not even arguable, the weakest division, not in all of football, but definitely in the AFC, the AFC South. And we lead off the AFC South with the Houston Texans at 9.5. Tom.
Over
9.5 for the Texans. I am going to go under, not looking at their schedule or anything, just based on the fact that they will be playing a first-place schedule, and I just don't think they're – to me, they're the Illinois of the NFL. Everybody thinks they're going to be all this wonderful, and I'm not buying it. I'm going under 9.5. Now, in saying that, the Texans will still make the playoffs because they're obviously going to win this god-awful division. And they might even win a playoff game. But I still think regular season they're under 9.5.
I'm going to go with
Go
ahead, Josh. Ryan. I'm going to go with the under.
I know they have two games against the Colts and they have 2 games against the Jags for sure. They're the class.
And 2 games against the Titans.
And 2 games against the Titans. So they're the, in air quotes, class of the AFC South. So, I'm going to go over.
All right. And that leads us to the hometown Indianapolis Pinky Fingers. And the Colts total is 7.5. They have, I want to be so wrong on this, but tell me what they've done since Andrew Luck retired to give you any faith to think that they would hit over. I'm going under. They might be the second team in NFL history to start 10 quarterbacks in a season, so I'm going under.
I'm going under.
We already know what Ryan's going to say, so Josh, what do you got?
I'm going to go over. I think they have too much talent. I think they can go 8-9. They'll win a couple meaningless games late in the season. They'll upset a team like they normally do. It'll be Daniel Jones for 9 games. I would say Richardson for 5, but he can't start or complete 5. So, I still think they have too much talent around. And, I think they can get to 8 wins.
Yeah, I'm changing my mind. Change me to over. Sorry. You're right. Like, they do find a way. And defensively, I think they're going to be better this year. They'll find a way.
This is going to shock you.
Ryan, are they 17-0?
The Colts will not win 7 games.
Oh, my.
I'm going to pick the under. And now, this might be reverse psychology on my part. I don't really know. But even watching them against the backups for the Ravens, it was atrocious. The best thing on the field, which is terrible, which I like because he was an in-state guy pretty much, was Riley Leonard. He was pretty much the best thing on the field the entire game. But I'm going to hit that under, and that's okay. But I think they win. They're going to go 6-11 or 7-10 this year.
Okay. Then we go to the Jacksonville Jaguars, 7.5. To me, that one's easy. That's under.
Yep. Same.
Man, wish I wouldn't have taken the Colts over. Yeah, I have to go under at that point in time when I have both the other AFC North teams over. So yeah, under.
I'm going to go with the under, but I do think they might win a couple games that they shouldn't this year. But other than that, it'll be under.
And then that leaves us with the Tennessee Titans at 5.5. Josh, you lead us off this time.
Under. I think Cam Ward will be okay, but that's under. I think they're the second worst team in football to the Browns, or maybe the third to the Jets. So under.
Tom?
Under.
I'm going to go under as well. I think Cam Ward, though, is going to be a lot like Bryce Young. I think he's going to struggle mightily this year. They're going to lose a little bit of faith in him. They may not bench him like Carolina did, but I think he's going to get it figured out, kind of like Bryce Young did. He's going to start showing some promise. It probably won't be until year 2, but I think he's going to be okay. But this year, that 5.5, yeah, I'm with you, Josh. They're one of the top 3 worst teams in the NFL, so they're under that 5.5.
Right.
I'm going to go with Jason. I'm going to say the under. I think Cam Ward, he'll do a good enough job to get them. He'll start a majority. The Titans don't have anything to play for this year except for building for the future. But I would say 4 to 5 wins, and some of those wins are going to come against, one's probably going to come against the Colts. They might surprise, the Texans, but those wins are going to become meaningless, but the wins that Cam Ward will build up, he's going to have those good games, and the losses, he'll still have good games. But I'm going to go with Jason here and say the under.
All right, and that takes us to what could arguably be the toughest division in football, the AFC West, starting out with the Kansas City Chiefs, 11.5. Tom, what say
Over.
you? Tom's going over 11.5 for the Chiefs. I'm going under simply because I think the Chiefs will win 11, so they don't hit that over. But I'm not like Josh, who thinks the bottom's going to fall out on the Chiefs. I'm going under, but it's not going to be like they're only going to win 6 games or something. Ryan,
yeah, I have to say, go ahead, Ryan.
I'm going to go with Josh here. The Chiefs are going to win 8 games and will not make the playoffs this year.
Oh, my. I love it. Well, yeah, I have to go under after last week's masterful performance that I put on. I have to go under.
All right. And then the Los Angeles Chargers, the Fighting Jim Harbaughs, 9.5. It's one of those things for me, and again, this is without the luxury of looking at the schedule, and you'll see why. I am going to have to go. I just believe in. I believe in Justin Herbert in his second year with Jim Harbaugh. I think I'm. Oh gosh, but then with the Broncos, you can't have 3 teams in the same division with double-digit wins, can you?
Yeah,
You could.
yeah, you could.
Oh man, how's that even going to happen? Ooh, I will go. Fine, I'm going to go over with the Chargers.
I'm going under. They'll hit 9.
It's already started out poorly for them with their left tackle, Rashawn Slater, dislocating his kneecap or whatever.
Wait a minute, I didn't know that.
Torn patella tendon.
Can I change my answer?
You can change it.
All right, thank you.
It's your game.
Thank you.
Game,
I appreciate it.
But I'm going to still go over. I mean, it's Harbaugh's second year with Justin Herbert. They can't continue, even though they just had a major injury, to have the injury luck that they had. I like Omarion Hampton, the running back that they drafted. I think Harbaugh can find a way to get them to 10 wins. Yeah.
The Chargers are going to win 11 games this year, and they will win the AFC West.
Okay. And then the Denver Broncos, 9.5. And this is what made me change my answer, because I know it's mathematically possible, but I don't think you're going to get a division where 3 teams win double figures. And I'm with Josh on this. You've got Bo Nix with Sean Payton. Sean Payton back in the NFL now. He's got he's got miles on the tires again. He's comfortable. If the Chiefs don't win the division, I think it will be the Broncos. So I'm going over 9.5 for the Broncos.
I am going over.
Yeah, I'm going to go over. I think the Broncos are they end up winning the AFC West. Bo Nix takes another step. I mean, he was a really good rookie quarterback last year. They made some improvements throughout their whole roster. The Chiefs are going to take a step back. The Broncos are going to take a step forward. I think they win the AFC West and go over.
I'm going to go with the over and say they win 10.
Okay. We will hold off and do the NFC next weekend. Now, here is the second part of it. So
we still got to do the Raiders.
Oh, the Raiders. That's right. Sorry, I missed them. Yep, I didn't miss them, but that tells you how much I think of them. The Las Vegas Raiders, 6.5.
Under.
I will say, because I do, regardless of what you think of him individually or things, Pete Carroll is a football savant. The dude knows how to coach. The Raiders will be better, but they're in such a tough division. And the AFC itself is just stacked. So while they will improve and they will be better, I think they are under 6.5.
Yeah, Ashton Genty, their number 1 draft pick in the game Thursday night, 3 rushes for -1 yard. So there's your first round pick running back. I'm going under.
Yeah, I'll go with the under, but I think it's close. I do. I think Geno Smith is an upgrade, and Pete Carroll's definitely an upgrade. But that offensive line is so bad. Their defense is worse. And like you said, Jason, that division is brutal. Like, I can't, even though I don't think the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs, it wouldn't surprise me if they won 13 games either. So
yeah,
I mean the Raiders are going to go under.
The Raiders are going to win 6 games, but they're going to lose all 6 division games, and I have a hard time believing they can win, and go 7-4 with the other games. So I'm going to do the under there.
Okay, so Tom now has this. This is locked, set in stone, cannot be changed from here on out. So we just gave our over-under predictions based on the projected win total from Vegas. So now what we have to do, and we will just start with the AFC East. We're going to go through game by game, and we have to somehow get to our win total. That we, if we said the over with the Bills, so the Bills were 11.5. We're going to all go through, and we'll just go win or loss on the game. I've got the schedule in front of me. You have to say whether they're going to win or lose, and then we will go back and we will do a comparison to see if our thoughts on the game itself, on all of the games, match up with just thinking globally about are they going to hit the over-under. Everybody with me?
Yep.
All right. So we're starting with Buffalo Bills Week 1 it's at home, Sunday Night Football against the Baltimore Ravens. Tom?
Win.
I definitely think that's a win because it's the home opener, and there aren't many NFL franchises that do home games like the Buffalo Bills.
True that. I'm going to go with a win. Yeah.
All right, so we've got 4 wins. Week 2, the next week, they are at the New York Jets.
Win.
Okay.
Week 3, Thursday night, so they're going Sunday to Thursday, but it's at home versus the Dolphins.
Win.
Yep.
Win.
Me too. Week 4, Sunday, 1 o'clock kickoff versus the New Orleans Saints at home.
Win.
Yeah, the Saints might be one of the worst teams in football too.
Yeah.
Week 5, Sunday versus the New England Patriots.
Win.
Sunday night
Win.
football, by the way.
Win.
Yep, I got win on that one.
Let's win.
Man, so far we're all undefeated. Week 6, Monday Night Football at Atlanta.
Win.
Win.
Yeah, I think they're going to win that one too.
Win.
This is blowing my mind. This is a first place schedule.
I know.
Holy
crazy.
cow! Okay, week 7 they play the bye. Week 8, good night. Week 8 Sunday at the Carolina Panthers. Win.
Win. Oh my Lord.
Win.
Okay, week 9, 4:25 kickoff at home versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Win.
Oh, cripes.
I say win.
I say win. I got to get the Chiefs under. I can't give them that game.
Ooh, this one is a toughie. Man. This is one of those games Patrick Mahomes just finds a way to win. But normally in the playoffs, Josh Allen will... God, they're going to be undefeated through week 9.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I got to go win here. Week 10 at Miami.
Win.
Oh, my God.
I'm saying win.
It is November, so it won't be 8,006 degrees.
God, I'll say win. I don't like that I have them like 9-0 right now.
I know. I'm going win too. Week 11 at home versus Tampa Bay.
Oh, my God. Win.
Just to break it up, I'm going to say loss.
And I'm going loss simply based on the fact, to me, Tampa Bay might be the dark horse. If somebody not named Philadelphia was to win the NFC, it might be Tampa Bay this year.
Yeah.
I think they're sneaky good.
I'm gonna go with a loss. I think Tampa Bay went into Detroit last year, week 2 or week 3, and handed them their first loss. So like you said, Jason, I think Tampa Bay is going to be very, very good.
Okay, then let's see. Week 12, Thursday night football. This is another short week. They played Sunday and they play Thursday at Houston on Thursday night football.
Loss.
Short week. Houston's going to win a game that they shouldn't, but they're going to come out and they're going to win by a touchdown.
Yeah, I think this is one of those. Houston's going to win a couple games they shouldn't win. They'll lose a couple they shouldn't. I think this is one of those. Coming off that short week, can't believe it, but I think the Bills lose 2 in a row. Tom?
Oh, yeah, I'm going with a loss.
Okay.
C.J. Stroud.
10 days later on Sunday, week 13, at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Win.
Yeah, I've got win.
Yep. Win.
Yeah, win.
Okay, week 14, Sunday, 4:25 kickoff at home versus the Fighting Joe Burrows.
Loss.
I think I'm going loss on that too. It'll be their only home. No, I lied. Tampa Bay's at home too. Ooh,
yeah,
man,
I think I'm going to go with
but yeah.
I think I'm going to go with the loss.
Was that it? All 4 of us?
Yes. Okay. Week 15 at home, Sunday at home versus the Patriots. I've got win on that. Actually, I think we'll all have win the next 2.
Win.
They've got the Patriots and the Browns back to back. We all taking wins on that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then week 17, they are at home versus the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles.
That's a loss.
I think it's a loss because I don't think they have anything to play for, but I don't know if Philadelphia does either. So I'll go loss. That's an incredibly weak schedule.
I'm going to say I think they will have just a skosh more to play for than Philadelphia. So I'm going win, although neither team really will, but Philadelphia is in the NFC. They'll have everything wrapped up at that point, I think. So I'm going to go win on that one. And then Week 18 at home versus the Jets. That's a win.
That's a win.
Win.
I mean, that. How is this even possible? So,
How many wins is that?
no kidding. Like, I think we all had them with only 2 to 3 losses.
Is that 14 and 30?
Most of us have 13 and 4. Josh and Jason,
I
you
think
got
I'm
14 and 3.
14
Yeah.
and 3. Well, with a schedule like that, how is that a first place schedule?
I don't know.
So
They
we
have a
all
weak
took
division.
the over with them anyway. So it looks like it's
Yeah.
going to be easy for them to hit. Well, on paper, it's going to be easy for them to hit the over. Okay, next we will go. It's just next on the list, so we're going here. Actually, you know what? Let me make sure. Sorry, riveting radio. I know. Okay. Next, we have the Miami Dolphins. Week 1 at the Colts.
What was their over-under? I forget.
8.5.
And I had them under, correct?
Yep.
All right, I'll give the Colts that one. That's a win for the Colts.
No, but this is for Miami, so you're taking a loss.
Yeah, I'll take a loss. Sorry.
Okay.
Yep.
Loss. Yeah, I think the Colts get that one. And they're going to give their fans false hope, forgetting that they're playing the most fragile quarterback in the NFL that's not named Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, I'm going with a loss.
When was the last time the Colts have won an opener? Was it 2012? Either way, I think this is the year they break that, so I'm going to go with a loss. But this might be the closest game. Might be 10-7.
Riveting football to watch. Okay, week 2, they are at home versus the Patriots. That's a win.
Win.
Dolphins are going to lose.
Oh,
that
yeah,
game.
sorry. No. Yeah, good Lord. Sorry, I was looking down the schedule. Yes, I think they beat the Patriots. The Dolphins beat the Patriots. Sorry.
Okay, so you're saying they win.
Yes,
Okay.
sorry. Yes, that's my fault.
I'm saying they lose.
I'm going to go with a loss.
Ooh, the Patriots win game 2. Mikey Vrabel, is that his first career victory?
Maybe.
Okay.
Josh, what was yours?
They are going to. What did I say? Win? Yeah, win.
Okay. So
Okay.
the Dolphins are going to beat New England.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, week 3, we already all 4 had losses on this. They're at Buffalo, so you can go ahead and put that one down. Right, we all did say they're going to lose, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Week 4, Monday Night Football. Who in the world decided this? The Dolphins at home versus the New York Jets for Monday Night
Oh
Football.
my Lord! I'll be busy that
Ooh,
night.
yeah, I
Is
got
this one of the
stuff.
doubleheader games?
It has to be. But I have to give them a win here.
Yeah.
A win.
Same for me.
I'm going to go with a win.
Okay. And then they have a short-ish week. They play Monday Night Football. Then they turn around and play the following Sunday. They are at Carolina. I'm going to go loss. I think Bryce Young out-duels Tua Tagovailoa, and Carolina gets the win. So loss for the Dolphins because it's at
Yeah,
Carolina.
I'll go Carolina. I'll go a loss for the Dolphins.
I'm going to go with a loss.
Tom?
I am going with a win.
Okay. Then week 6, they are at home versus the Chargers. The only thing that makes me question this is the cross-country flight, but I don't question that anymore in today's day and age of luxury travel and things. That is a loss for the Dolphins. The Chargers come to town and beat the Dolphins.
Yeah, for sure. Loss.
A loss.
Loss.
Yep.
Okay, and then the following Sunday, October 19th, they are at Cleveland, good Lord. You think that the Colts-Dolphins game, this might end up 2-0.
That's a win.
That's a win.
Yeah, I think, although that could be, that would be week 7. That might be the first week of Shadur Sanders. But I still think it's a win for the Dolphins.
Ryan?
That is a loss. Shador gets his first win. Right
There you go.
Okay, wait a second. Let's do those again. I'm saying the Dolphins win.
Yes, me too.
Dolphins win.
Okay. So, Ryan, you say they're going to lose.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. The next Sunday, they are at Atlanta. Michael Penix might have some things figured out by then. I'm going to go loss for the Dolphins on this one. Because it's at Atlanta.
I'll go loss. I like Atlanta this year.
And they've got Bijan Robinson still, who's really good back.
They've got some wide receivers,
I'm going win.
I'm going with a loss.
I think we're probably all in agreement here. Although it is a short week, but that doesn't matter because it's just going to make it even worse. They play Thursday night, week 9, at home versus the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore's going to win. So loss for the Dolphins.
That's a big loss.
Yep, loss.
Josh?
Yeah, that's a loss.
And then the next week is at home versus the Bills. I think we all four already said loss on that one as well. Tom, I'm not going too fast for you.
I got it. No, I'm good.
Okay. Then the next week they are in Madrid against the Washington Commanders. That's a loss.
Yep, that's a loss.
Yep.
Okay.
Are they going to get the first overall pick?
Then they have the bye week. Then they are at home versus the New Orleans Saints. That's a win.
Win.
Yeah, that's a win.
That's all of us.
Okay. Week 14, they are at the New York Jets. I still say that's a win, too. They've won 2 in a row here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Win.
Yeah, that's a win. They need to slow down, though, because I got them under 8.5.
Then Monday Night Football, they're at the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers works a little magic there. The Steelers win. That's a loss for the Dolphins.
It's a loss.
Where's that game at?
That is at Pittsburgh in December.
Well, I picked the Dolphins to go over, so I'm going to have to say that's a win.
I'll go with a loss.
Okay. Sunday, week 16, at home versus the Bengals. Loss.
That's a loss.
Yeah, that's a loss.
Yeah.
Week 17 at home versus the Bucks. The only reason that I would say it could be a win would be kind of like what we said with the Eagles and Bills game. I don't know that Tampa Bay is going to have a whole lot to play for at that point. 2 weeks left in the regular season, but I think Tampa Bay is just better, and I think that's a loss for the Dolphins.
Okay.
That was a loss.
I'll go with a loss as well.
For some crazy reason, I'm going to go with the win.
Okay. And then week 18 at New England. Oh, I think just because it's a Mike Vrabel team, I think their Dolphins aren't great, but they're better than the Patriots. But the Patriots will be playing for absolutely nothing but pride, and that's something that you do for Mike Vrabel. So they're still going to go out and play like it's the Super Bowl. So I'm going loss for the Dolphins.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'll take the Patriots. Loss for the Dolphins.
That's a loss. It's going to be like 15 degrees, and Tua's not going to do well at all.
All right, so Tom, I'll give you time here. Figure out what everybody's record is for the Dolphins. And while he's doing that, we might have to just do 2 teams per division. This takes a little longer than expected.
That's what I was gonna.
Okay.
I was gonna say that.
But as Tom's doing that, Josh, I don't think there's anybody else on the show right now who can say that here in August their basketball team is 1-0 on the season.
It's insane that you're saying that. I'm on Peegs right now reading about the game today that they have.
Now, let's preface this by saying, first of all, everybody who is there reporting on IU has said that first team they played was at best a Division II team. And so IU did to them what they should have done to them. But Two huge things that stand out to me that get me so excited, and I don't mean national title possibilities. I'm just saying excited to be able to watch IU basketball again. Number one, they attempted 22 threes in their offense in just the first half alone. It wasn't forced or anything. They got the ball to those spots because that's the spots they want to have the ball in. 22 three-point attempts in the first half, 33 overall for the game. I'm not sure how many made field goals they had, but they had 32 assists on their made field goals. And you know, they said that it was one of those games that just by physical superiority, IU could have just driven and dunked it about every time. But they actually ran offense. They moved the ball incredibly well. They shared the ball well, so they were playing it with great pace and everything. Everything that I read, Josh, got me extremely excited.
Yeah, you know, a lot of teams that when they go on these, I mean, these trips to the Bahamas or Puerto Rico, IU's in Puerto Rico, you know, basically they're going for team bonding, which is what, and the 10 extra practices that they get, which is especially important for Darren DeVries' first year. But a lot of teams, and we would have seen this under Mike Woodson, they would go down there and they would just dump the ball inside to Trace or Omar Ballo and won by the same margin, and you would have taken absolutely nothing away from it. And yes, they won 98-47, but it was the way that they shared the ball. Just from reporting that we've seen, the way that they shared the ball, the fact that they took 22 three-point attempts in the first half, and that was with Tucker DeVries, their best player, not hunting for shots. So, you know, they're going to get out. They're going to get out and run. They want to score it within the first 11 or 12 seconds of the shot clock. And it's just exciting to read about sharing the basketball, taking shots, taking threes. And the best thing that I saw from it, they only attempted 2 long twos. 2 shots basically that were outside the paint or not three-pointers. That is a far cry from what we've watched the last 8 years.
That's all we saw.
Indiana basketball. Yeah, so I'm excited. We're, you know, 70-ish or so days out from the first game from college basketball. I think the crowd's going to get behind them. I think the crowd's going to get and support them. They're going to show up for games. And, you know, DeVries, you know, it stands to wonder if he can operate in the fishbowl that is IU. But a realistic expectation, they need to make the tournament. And the way that you do that is play how they showed the style that they want to play in that first exhibition game. So, incredibly exciting just to read basically the reports that we wanted to see coming out of this.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll get a much better picture. Their next 2 games, they have 2 games left, right? They were playing 3 down there. The competition picks up considerably. I watched just a brief snippet with Rab John and Trevor Andershock, and they said that these next 2 teams have Division I level guys and guys that play on their national team and things. So it's going to be a much better measuring stick for, and it's not like the wins and losses don't matter. This is a group that's had 10 practices and off-season workouts together. It's not like you're coming back and building off of last year or anything. Brand new head coach, literally every single person on the roster is brand new. So just continuing those things we saw in game 1, playing with great pace, moving the basketball, getting it to the spots on the floor that you want to, running the right actions at the right times and things. So, you know, it's cautiously optimistic, like we've said since day one, and so I think our resident bookkeeper over here has it done. Tom, the over/under that we had for the Miami Dolphins was 8.5. Remind us what we all had first of all before you tell us the record that we ended up coming up with.
We all had under.
Okay, we all had under 8.5. So after going through the schedule, did we all end up at the under?
We did. Jason, Josh, and myself we were all 8 and 9, so under.
That was close,
right? It was 8.5.
Yeah, 8.5. Yeah.
And Ryan was 6 and 11, so we got all those right.
Okay.
And for the Bills, Let's see.
It was
Josh,
11 and a
Josh
half.
had 14-3. The rest of us had 13-4. So we all went over on that one.
Okay, so far we've all been able to get there, but I think it's interesting when you do the two separately, because by the time we get going through this, we're going to forget maybe whether we said over or under. So then it's kind of a fun experiment to see if you can actually get to that number that you predicted at a different time. I don't know. I think it's kind of a fun way to do it. But we only have a quick minute here, and I know we love to do these things. We always talk about the greatness that is Michael Jordan, the greatness that is Roger Federer, the greatness that is Serena Williams, all of the GOATs. Tiger Woods continues to be maybe the goatiest GOAT of all GOATs. Okay? Here's some more mind-boggling stats for you, all right? So the 22-23 PGA Tour season, Scottie Scheffler had an adjusted scoring average of 68.63, the seventh best single-season mark of all time. Can you name the players who have the top 6 scoring averages of all time?
Tiger Woods.
Exactly. The 1 through 6 best adjusted scoring averages in the history of golf are all Tiger Woods. That was just one.
Insane.
Tiger Woods is credited with 41 career European Tour wins, third most all time. He's never played full time on the European Tour, and he has the third most wins of all time on the European Tour. Think about that. From 2004 to 2006, Tiger Woods had 1,466 putts from 3 feet and in, according to ShotLink. Do you know how many he missed?
Less than 100.
Less than 100?
Oh, he only missed 3.
Ryan says 50.
Less than 50, yeah.
Josh has heard this stat before. He missed 3.
Wow.
Out of 1,466. Josh, you missed 3 of those around, don't you? You're a pretty good golfer.
I shot 2 over the other day, and I missed 3 of them.
Yeah, there you go. In the last 60 years, there are 3 instances of a player winning 5 or more PGA Tour starts in a row. All 3 of them were Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods won 7 in a row. Tiger Woods won 6 in a row. Tiger Woods won 5 in a row. Here's another one. Over the last 10 seasons, players with a 3+ shot advantage heading into the final round have gone on to win 61.7% of the time. If they have a 3-shot lead or better, that person has won 61.7% of the time. Tiger Woods in his career, guess what his percentage was?
I think he lost once.
I had something else. Yeah, I think once.
95%.
You're actually all wrong. He was a perfect 25 for 25 with a 3-shot lead.
Oh, 3-shot lead.
3-shot lead going into the final round. There are 3 instances in the history of the PGA Tour of a player winning 8 or more times at the same course. All 3 instances?
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods. He won 8 times at Bay Hill, 8 times at Firestone, and 8 times at Torrey Pines. That's
not bad.
That's kind of good. The win percentage by outright 54-hole leader on the PGA Tour in 2021 was 26.7%. And the PGA Tour over the last 10 seasons, it's 42%. Tiger Woods, 95.7%. 44 out of 46 times that Tiger had the outright lead after 54 holes, he won the golf tournament. And we've all said Scottie Scheffler on a tear, winning majors, all this. From the 1999 PGA through the 2001 Masters, Tiger's finishes in the majors. Win, 5th, win, 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 win. So he won the PGA Championship, was 5th in the Masters, and then won the Tiger Slam after that.
Yep.
He got beat by a grand total of 4 people in 6 combined majors. He got beat by 4 golfers. So we can talk about GOATs, and y'all know my love for Michael Jordan, but Tiger Woods, I think, might be the goatiest GOAT of all GOATs.
And can I throw a knucklehead of the week?
Sure.
Skip Bayless, who doesn't have anything to do now since his show got canceled. Back when the British Open, or the Open Championship as they like to call it, Scotty Scheffler in a press conference said that golf is not his number one, it's not the most important thing. That God and his family come first. Which is understandable. I admire that Tiger Woods, his focus was golf. Skip Bayless said Scotty Scheffler is completely off track with saying that his family and God are most important before golf. So Skip Bayless, you're a knucklehead.
Yeah, that's why Skip Bayless doesn't have a show anymore. And I wanted to leave you with this Tiger Woods stat. Those 3 tournaments that he won, or 3 courses that he won 8 times at, so 24 total wins. That's the same amount of PGA Tour wins as Gary Player. Tiger did that on 3 courses.
Well, and the wild thing is, like, you look at that, he won 8 times on just one course. How many of the guys that we talk about now as being some of the best players in the world over the last decade or so don't even have 8 career wins? Yeah. Like, they're up there all the time, and they're great, and they're doing all these things, but they don't even have 8 career wins. He did it 3 times on separate courses. Like that.
Yeah.
It's just, again, that's why I say if you're going to have an argument on who might be the absolute best of the best in their given craft, you're going to be hard-pressed to find one that did it better than Tiger.
The only thing that I might say, and this is just based on numbers, when it comes to majors, Tiger's not number 1 because Jack Nicklaus won 18, finished second 19 times. Tiger either won or he was, 3rd, 4th, 5th, something like that. So from majors, maybe you say Jack Nicklaus is best, or I say it, but had Tiger been healthy, he would have blown that away.
Yeah, Jack started 19 more majors than Tiger did. Tiger actually has a 0.3% better winning percentage in those majors than Jack does.
Yeah, he just didn't get to play enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It matters.
Yep. So.
All right, fellas. Well, Beyond the Game brought to you by Schutte Excavating, Gillenhow Funeral Home, Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep, Buy-Right Auto, Decatur County Recycling, and Russ Hubler Ford. For Ryan Higginbotham, Tom Fleming, and Josh Lee, this is Jason Simpson. We'll see y'all next week.